Most cars are forgettable. Some cars have earned respect from their aura. I am 10 years too old to be saying this stuff, but you get my drift. And then there's the 718 GTS, which takes all those things, balls it up, throws it into the trash, flips you the middle finger, all while revving to almost 8,000 RPM. Goddamn. So let's just get all the complaints out the way. People complain that this engine doesn't have enough torque. I think they're stupid.
Hey pal, you just blowing from stupid town?
This car in PDK form has 317 foot-pounds of torque. And in manual form, it has 309, which is enough for a car that weighs 3,200 pounds. Let me show you. Let's hop out into traffic. 3,000, 4,000, shift. 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 78, shift. 7,000, 8,000. This is the beauty of naturally aspirated, free revving engine. You don't get that when you saddle an engine with turbos.
Breathe air. You don't need a vape.
The turbos choke the exhaust, and the car sounds like it's being choked out by OJ, if he did it. I don't know if he did, but if I had to guess, maybe. And sure, a 6-gear pull isn't as fast as it would be in a comparable M2, but what do you care? The second thing that people complain about is the gearing. And as you can tell, I was going pretty fast there. That was one of the fastest 55-mile-an-hour pulls that you guys have ever seen.
How? Hold on, bro. How? I'm saying, how? Like, talk to me, bro.
Yes, the gears are long, and sometimes I wish the gears were shorter. But then you get out in a place like this, and you realize why the gears are so long. It is easy to take advantage of these long gears on long sweeping curves and long sweeping drives, like I'm on right now in southern Georgia. But if you're on a racetrack, you want to have shorter gears so that you have more options coming out of corner. There are some times where you're like, I could use a little bit more leverage there. But it doesn't spoil the car by any means. In fact, the PDK actually gets 8 more foot-pounds of torque than the manual, and I will gladly give that up to have 3 pedals. And this is why. Heeling and towing is easy, but you don't have to, because why rev match when you can have the computer do it for you?
Well, my collar's blue and my neck is red. I've been working like a dog just to keep my family fed.
Porsche claims that this car can reach 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds. But this car is not about numbers at all. It's really about how you feel when you get behind the wheel and the visceral experience that it gives you that you can't get from other vehicles today. The steering is damn near telepathic. I've only driven a handful of cars that have a better steering. The Porsche 911 GT3 RS comes to mind, and that is a completely different beast.
How many records can my records break?
More records.
But I'm the best.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What the f does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
The shifter is virgin tight.
Why don't you have a seat? Go ahead and take a seat. Take a seat right over there.
And the clutch is light but easy to modulate. It feels like everything is kind of connected to the tip of my fingers. The seating position is great. I have been in more supportive seats. I think that it is missing lumbar support. You have sport modes here that, in combination with PASM, change the mood of the car. Normal mode, we have a sport mode, sport plus mode, and an individual mode that you can modify to your liking. Unfortunately, you can't turn off the rev matching unless you turn off the traction stability control. It's weird. Fix that. This car really only makes 44 more horsepower above the Cayman S, And then that makes 50 horsepower over the base Cayman. There is a significant price difference between the three. The first one is, that was a 911 9962 that just went by me. Nice. Why buy this car over a Cayman S, which only has 44 less horsepower but has the added torque of turbos, or even the base Cayman, which you can get for almost a $30,000 discount compared to this car? Well, those two cars have 4-cylinder. If you want the rights to be able to laugh at 4-cylinder memes, then you have to get this car. You also get the upgraded passive suspension, the Sport Chrono package, the Sport exhaust, the blackened out exterior trim, all standard. Those 4-cylinder cars, although they are very capable, they are missing a little bit of that Porsche sauce. And to truly understand that, you kind of have to go back to Porsche's history in the 90s. They were struggling financially and came out with the original Boxter. That car you could get in base trim with a flat 6, naturally aspirated, and a 6-speed manual. Today, in order to get that combination, you have to pay almost $100,000. This car starts at $92,000, and that's before you put any options on. Base radio, pretty basic interior, not much fun. So most of these cars are coming out of the door at around $100,000. That's just the way Porsche does its optioning. And that's why this car matters so much, because it's a return to form. It's a return to the naturally aspirated, flat 6, no turbos, manual transmission that you can get at a somewhat, and I say somewhat very loosely, affordable price. I'm really saddened at the idea that these types of cars, they are starting to become extinct. This design is getting long in the tooth, and the interior is not immune from me cooking it, because Porsche should know better. It doesn't really offend you. It doesn't make you feel super comfortable. Now, I said that the seats were more or less moderately comfortable, but the cup holders are pretty much useless. There's really not much storage here. You don't have space for a cell phone. It goes here in the center console. Under the armrest, you have to wire your car in order to use Apple CarPlay. You do get heated and cooled seats, and you do get memory seats as well, and these seats are 14-way adjustable. There are cars that are this size that do a lot better job of managing and offering space. I just think Porsche didn't really put much thought into making the 718 comfortable. In fact, there is so little space here that if I bring my wallet, my keys, and my cell phone, and my passenger brings her purse and her unsolicited opinion about war, politics, and money, then we don't have any more space. You gotta do better, Porsche. Price. Can you get a car for half the price with Alcantara all around and this high-grade leather and a Porsche badge on it? No, you can't. The car that I'm driving right now has a price tag of $120,000 and doesn't have wireless CarPlay.
Your change is $1, sir.
Broke nigga alert. Broke nigga alert.
Is it talking about me?
It has a screen that looks like it would be home on an Etch-a-Sketch. It doesn't have any of the safety features like lane avoidance or active cruise control. These are options that are available on a $50,000 Genesis or Audi SUV, let alone a $120,000 Porsche. And the problem is that the architecture behind this car is just so old that it's not able to adapt to those new features. So Porsche would have to invest money in order to upgrade this car, but they don't want to. They will be changing the 718 into an EV. Well, that was the plan until softening EV demand, which caused Porsche to push back its 718 EV transition to 2027, which honestly, I'm not mad at. We're going to have a 718 gap year because they are really going to be stopping production in 2025. This may be your last opportunity to get a car like this. So, should you? Well, it really depends on what is important to you. If you think utility is important, this car might not be the one for you. Porsche does give you 2 trunks with the 718, the front and the trunk. And they do have a good amount of space. Honestly, I think that's probably the best space utilization that they've done on this car. And then there's the elephant in the room, which most reviewers aren't talking about because they don't talk about longevity. These clutches have a history of wearing a little fast. It's not a catastrophic problem, but it is something to keep in mind because a clutch replacement can cost you almost $5,000. The example that I have has 5,800 miles, and I've driven a car with 1,000 miles, and there's definitely a difference in the clutch feel. If you're going to buy one of these cars, count on replacing the clutch pretty damn frequently. There are faster cars out there. There are cars with more interior space, and there are cars that have clutches that last longer than 5,000 miles. There aren't that many cars that have a naturally aspirated flat 6, a 6-speed manual option, and tactile feel like the Cayman GTS. No car is perfect, and this one is no exception. If you get the opportunity to drive one of these cars, I say do it. And if you are even more blessed enough to be able to buy one of these, buy it. So there you have it, folks. The 718 GTS, an almost perfect sports car. Unfortunately, Porsche doesn't think so, and they're going to go electric in the next couple of years. The people have spoken, the markets have spoken. What do you guys think? Do you think that the 718 is done? Or do you think that Porsche should give it another shot and keep the naturally aspirated sports car alive? I'm Kevin Cars. It's not my review unless you see that check engine light. Until next time, peace.